Well, 3 is the number coming into this, isn't it? Greaves looking to be that
85.
first person to get 3 titles in a row. And these two have won the last 3 Women's World Championships.
30.
I get the feeling if Suzuki was not to get over the line in this, she'd be sick of the sight of Beau Greaves in finals.
It was 5-1 in the first,
100.
around this time yesterday, and then 5-2 in the second. Suzuki in that second one having got rid of Lisa Ashton in the semi-finals, just as she did in the
60.
quarter-finals today. Ashton, who has been the dominant force in the women's series so far, but maybe she needs to move over.
180.
Pretty easy work so far for Beau, getting to a finish after 9, and pretty easy work it was for Mikuru in the semis today. Au contraire to yesterday.
59.
86 the average against Anka Zelstra. 20 better than her opponent in that last 4 match. But already
96.
Beau is sending a message, and that message states, I want title number 3. And if she gets it, she's going to vault up this order of merit from 0 to £3,000 and into 6th with a tournament to spare, and that's a 13-dart start.
Well, just to highlight how good a 13-darter is, if you kept hitting those over the course of a match and won it to 0, your average would be 116.
100.
But they have been the best 2 players, haven't they, over the course of the week? There's been no doubt about that. All the stats back it up, all the results back it up.
139.
But Beau's been that bit better.
Yes, that's absolutely right. It's been tremendous to see Mikuru back in form, but she's coming up against someone who just doesn't
100.
know how to lose.
And it's difficult to check because the records for
81.
the WDF events that she plays in are not always as complete on the stat systems, but it would be interesting to know exactly how many matches Beau Greaves has lost in 2022, because
85.
of course she won at the Lakeside and became world champion. She won those 3 Isle of Man tournaments that I mentioned earlier this year. She's won both of the PDC events she's played in.
100.
Won in Australia recently.
Can't be many matches she's lost. There are not many tournaments she's lost, never mind matches.
I'll do a little digging to see if I can find one.
46.
Suzuki leaves 170 after a dozen darts, and it might be the only chance she gets to hold her throat in leg 2.
100.
Because Greaves is down to 81 after the same amount. Another in there. And the bull.
135.
Might have had to hit it.
Possibly. Is it the bull? Yes, it is.
56.
Closer, but I don't see a cigar around here.
Double 16 the choice for Suzuki.
3.
Beau Greaves did survive a dart at the bull to be beaten by Lorraine Winstanley earlier today. She's looking at double 8s to double her lead, make that double 4.
Game shot.
And it is 2-0, and it is a break as soon as possible for Beau Greaves.
I have found Beau Greaves' last defeat, and it was in the Pacific Masters in Australia. She couldn't do the double down there. She won the Australian Open, beating Mikuru Suzuki in the final.
45.
So finals in the last month for Suzuki against Greaves. I don't know what go away is in Japanese, but I think she's probably saying it to her right now. But in the Pacific Masters,
95.
it was Ashton that beat Greaves in the semis. Ashton would go on to win the title.
So that's the difference between me and Paul. I just make general statements. He's much more Pacific.
100.
I see what you did there. And there haven't been many defeats for Beau Greaves at all since she picked up that
99.
title at Lakeside in April. She's only lost, what I can see, 3 matches maybe. She lost to Rhiannon O'Sullivan
81.
back in the semi-finals of the Welsh Classic. Lost to Ros Bulmer in the Romanian Classic in the semi-finals, and also to
95.
Eileen de Graaf in the England National Singles quarter-finals. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, hasn't lost here in Hildesheim this weekend, looking to make it a run of 18 consecutive victories in women's series matches, and that could become more before the end of the day.
And before anybody tweets me, I know that Joe Clements beat Beau Greaves in the Scottish Open quarter-finals as well, but when it comes to defeats over the course of months, there have not been many at all. That's why
81.
she's so confident right now, because she doesn't believe she's going to lose to anyone.
And this is on course to be up there with the best performances she's produced
60.
this weekend. 130 is a better finish than 131. Though Suzuki does have 3 darts in hand in this leg. Was trying to hunt down the treble 13 there to get a dart at double.
91.
Got the 31 in the end, but it's single treble bull for Beau Greaves.
Stay straight with one of them in the treble. That's all right. Just a little adjustment required.
100.
A little bit of Michael Smith activity there, leaving double 15.
A bit of nonchalance from Beau Greaves.
Game shot.
But Suzuki breaks back. Would still have to do it again to ultimately win the match, but big difference between trailing 3-0 and trailing 2-1.
140.
Is this going to be the best final that we've had from these 3? I
60.
just don't know at this stage. But I'm not getting sick of them. I don't know about you. We could indeed have a 4th. But I haven't looked at the draw
140.
yet for the next tournament. It's somewhat miraculous that they've been in the other half of the draw to each other in the first 3 tournaments of this weekend.
And the draw has recently been done
40.
for event 16 of the Women's Series in 2022. And I can tell you now that Beau Greaves has been drawn
100.
on board 12, so the bottom half of the draw, and Mikuru Suzuki has been drawn on board 4, so the top half of the draw, which means it could be 4 finals between the same 2 players.
Incredible. As would this leg be if it's taken right now. It
Game
is
shot.
incredible from the miracle Mikuru Suzuki, a 12-darter, to follow some of the darts that we've already seen in this final, which have been incredible. Both ladies averaging in the high 80s,
58.
making this a very competitive game of darts. Best of 5 from here.
$100.
I think the spirit that all of these
96.
tournaments have been played in over the last couple of days has been exemplary. It's been such a focused room downstairs. And there's a bit of a hush over the second tournament of the day, because when the qualifiers
60.
for the European Tour events have left the building, there's more boards for the ladies to use for practice and to utilise for the tournament.
60.
And I think the friendship between a lot of these players who use these practice rooms and playing these arenas together all across the world, if you don't get along with them, it's a pretty icy
100.
experience. But I think they understand that they travel to different places and they have to share time and space. But when they're on these ockies, Chris, there are no friends.
60.
Beau Greaves falling out of herself at the moment. Mikuru Suzuki keeping calm You know what I liked about that 1-2-1 checkout on the bull when she didn't need to go for it in the
60.
previous leg? There will be many occasions, particularly against the likes of Beau Greaves, where she does need to go for it. So it's good practice, isn't it, to
100.
sort of pretend and put yourself in that situation.
Let's say she leaves 121 a little bit later in the match.
Well, like now.
And she's already hit it, like you said.
Oh,
100.
Spoiled
Mikuru.
it. But getting a bullseye checkout is a really good confidence booster. And it would very much help Beau Greaves right now.
Bull for Beau. She can't do it.
78.
It could still be the bull for Mikuru Suzuki if she fails to find a treble.
This is big. Bullseye again. Line was perfect.
34.
Underpitched by about 2 centimetres. And Beau is back for double 16.
She's had that dart to navigate an awful lot over the course of this weekend. Is there a way?
17.
Well, every time she misses it, she goes left. And I believe she needs to go right. Ooh, now 17 remain.
Either side of the one is a problem. That's very, very sensible.
43.
The old round the world 47. Southeast, northwest, northeast. It didn't pay off.
Game
And southwest, the other corner, is found by Greaves. Chances missed by Mikuru.
As I said, 5-1 in the final yesterday. 5-2 in the final after that.
140.
Suzuki's seemingly edging closer, and I think this one will be the hardest fought fight yet.
100.
Can you imagine what Mikuru would have done if she'd come across the world a little bit sooner?
100.
Just because someone is a legendary dart player, which, let's face it, Mikuru is already. Some people come into the world-class status a
140.
bit later in life. Look at Peter Wright. Look at Gary Anderson. He was a phenomenal player for a good 10 years before he became a world-class talent in a world championship sort of
180.
way. But Mikuru, in her local sense in Japan and Asia, was a superstar well before she joined the ranks of world champion.
140.
But Greaves has done it the other way around. She's just gone smash bang wallop, I'll take the world title right away, thank you very much.
But what a leg this has been. This has been a smash bang wallop leg. 140, 100, 180 for Mikuru Suzuki.
Game shot.
And she takes out 81 for a dozen darter. Beau Greaves in that leg had hit a ton and two 140s.
2 12-darters in this match for Mikuru Suzuki. Now you tell me, go on, I dare you, you guys at home, I know who you are. You tell me that women can't play as well as men.
88, 87, the averages. But they're rising.
180.
And now Suzuki ties up the maximum tally for the day.
Proper game of darts this. Can't take your eyes off it.
140.
Scoring from the gods.
This is absolutely brilliant. Apart from the 81 checkout, every single one of the visits in the last 2 legs,
60.
until that one, was 100 and something.
Well, I'm a big believer. I don't know what you feel about this, Murph, but I believe that some couples have chemistry
180.
in this game, and Greaves is hitting back really hard, leaving 56 after 9. But when 2 players come together, the pace works, the feelings are good, and games are just really good.
140.
Whereas sometimes they aren't.
2 12s for Suzuki, as Paul said. 2 11s yesterday and a 10 for Beau Greaves.
Game
A
shot.
double 10 makes it a dozen darter for her. And she edges back ahead.
Back-to-back 12 darters. Amazing standard.
And now both players' averages have inflated to north of
45.
90. But as Suzuki just started to stumble because she was in this brilliant spell and Beau Greaves wouldn't go away.
It always feels like
100.
Greaves is in a winning position. I don't believe she's ever this weekend been in a losing position.
I genuinely think, and I don't know how players do it. You made a comparison with
100.
Adrian Lewis. He was like this when he was at the top of his game. They just seem to be able to go up through the gears when they need to. Obviously, every time you throw a dart, you're aiming for the treble or double that you require at that point, but just seems
100.
to be with certain players that they can just raise their game exactly when they need to, and that's what Beau Greaves has done in this final.
Mikuru is going to have to raise her game to meteoric levels. She's going to topple Greaves.
140.
She's put in such a big effort. But needing 2 legs straight when Greaves is not relenting
140.
is just such a big ask. You just fancy that she might need 140 or 180 here.
And you do see a change in demeanour, don't you, when Greaves moves into that zone, that purple patch.
100.
And it becomes about business. 161 plays 116. Treble 17. What a way to win it this would be. Oh, it is incredible. And it is a fitting way to win the match as brilliant Beau takes a triple of titles here. It's glory, glory and glory for Greaves. And it is 3 and easy for Beau Greaves, who once again defeats Mikuru Suzuki and becomes the first ever player to win 3 Women's Series titles on the spin. She could make it a perfect weekend if she wins the 4th. She did it with a dozen darter, a 161. Absolutely incredible.